My child, stop. Whatever you were doing when this found you, I need you to set it down for the next few minutes. What I am about to speak over you is not a general word shaped for a general audience. It is a specific word formed for a specific person, released at a specific point in a specific season, and that person is you. The fact that you are here in this moment, encountering this message at this particular intersection in your life, is not coincidence. I arranged it. I made sure this word reached you today because there is something I have been waiting for the right moment to say to you directly. And today is that moment, my child. I know what you carry, not in the way someone who loves you might say it, meaning they have a sympathetic understanding of your circumstances or a general sense of the difficulty you are in. I mean it in the complete and specific and interior way that only I can mean it. I know what you carry the way I know the number of your days, the way I know the name I gave you before the world began, the way I know every path you have walked and every moment you have had on those paths. Not only the visible ones, but the interior ones, the ones that happened in the hidden place where no one else was present to witness them. I know what you carry from the inside, from the very place where it lives, and I have known it that way from the first day of the carrying, my beloved. I want to stay with that for a moment before I move forward, because I know that the person who has been in an extended season of carrying something invisible has sometimes heard the phrase, God knows, and received it, in the general sense as a warm spiritual acknowledgement, rather than the concrete and structural reality it actually is. When I say I know what you carry, I am not offering you a comforting generality. I am making a precise statement about what I have directly and completely witnessed. I know what it cost you in the first weeks when the weight was new and strange, and you did not yet have a language for it. I know what it cost you in the middle seasons when the carrying had become familiar, but the resolution was nowhere visible, and the timeline was extending beyond what you had prepared for. I know what it cost you in the later seasons when the weight had compounded with the passage of time, and the specific toll of carrying something no one else can fully see had extracted something from the interior of you that the exterior world never knew about. I know the specific moments where holding on was the most difficult thing available to you. I know the interior decisions you made, the private ones, the ones no one else heard, where you decided one more time to keep carrying what I placed in you without an audience and without external reward and without visible evidence that the carrying was going anywhere. I was there for all of it, my child, every single day of the carrying. And what I saw in every one of those days confirmed something that I want to speak to you directly today. I saw you, not the struggle, not the difficulty, not the weight of the season. I saw you, the person you are in the act of holding something real and significant and invisible with dignity, without requiring the external world to acknowledge what you are holding. That is who I saw. And that person is the one I called, the one I prepared, and the one I have been forming through the full length of the formation season for the specific assignment that is now beginning to open. If something moved in your chest reading those words, a tightening or a loosening, something that landed in the interior before your mind had time to evaluate it, receive that as the recognition of what I am speaking being true for you. Type I carry something no one can see in the comments. Not as performance, as the acknowledgement of something you already know from the inside. My beloved, I want to speak to the interior life of the person who carries an invisible call through an extended formation season, because I think it is one of the most misunderstood dimensions of what you have been through, and I want to name it accurately before this message moves forward. The person who carries something invisible, something interior, something that has no external confirmation, and no visible evidence, and no fully articulable form in ordinary conversation. That person lives in two realities simultaneously. There is the exterior reality, which is the observable layer of their life. The work they do, the relationships they hold, the daily circumstances they navigate, the visible situation they exist within. And there is the interior reality, which is what they carry. The call, the knowing, the specific sense of what they were made for and where they are going, even when that destination is not yet visible from where they are standing. These two realities do not always align, my child. They can exist in significant tension with each other for extended periods of time, and the daily experience of inhabiting both simultaneously, of navigating an exterior world while carrying an interior, knowing that the exterior world cannot see or confirm, produces a specific kind of interior life that most people will never fully understand from the outside. I want to name this clearly, because the person in the formation season can begin to receive the hiddenness of what they carry as evidence that something is lacking, as though the invisibility of the interior thing means it is smaller or less real than things that are visible. That is not what the hiddenness means, my beloved. The interior life of the person who carries an invisible call through an extended formation season is not impoverished. It is, in fact, among the most active and rich and complex interior experiences available to a human person. The sustained engagement with a call that has no external confirmation. The constant interior work of maintaining faith in something the surrounding world offers no evidence for. The daily negotiation between the knowing and the not yet. The specific quality of attentiveness that develops when you are watching for my movement in ordinary circumstances, because you know I am present and working even when I am not visible. All of this, my child, produces an interior depth that most people around you will never see because it does not express itself visibly in the formation season. But it is real, and it is part of what the formation season was building in you. Not only resilience and faith, but the specific quality of interior depth that the assignment opening for you will draw on and express through you when the time comes. I see both realities, my beloved. I see the exterior circumstance and I see the interior carrying. And what I see when I look at the interior of your formation season is not a person who has been struggling in vain. It is a person who has been building something extraordinary in the hiddenness, something that will be recognizable to those who encounter its expression in the arrival season, even though they will not be able to fully account for its depth from what they can observe on the outside. The depth they will encounter in you is the formation season made visible, and it has been forming for a long time. Type "I am still here" in the comments, because you are, through the carrying, through the extended season, through every day where continuing forward was a choice rather than a momentum. You are still here, and that matters. My child, I want to address directly something that I know the enemy of your formation has tried to use against you during the invisible season. I want to address it with precision because the deception in it is specific, and the correction needs to be received fully before this message moves forward. The enemy of your formation has worked specifically in this place, telling you that the hiddenness of what you carry is evidence of something wrong, that the fact that what you carry has not yet become visible means it is not real or not coming, or that something happened somewhere along the path that derailed the trajectory of the call, that the length of the formation season is evidence that the formation is not working, or that you were mistaken about what I placed in you, or that the people who expressed doubt about the timeline were seeing something accurately that you were not seeing. I need you to hear this directly. The hiddenness of the formation season is not a deficiency, my beloved. It is a design feature. The call was kept interior during the formation season, not because it was too small to be visible, but because the exterior was not yet ready to receive it with the fullness and the accuracy that the expression requires. What you carry needed to be held in the interior, shaped in the hiddenness, refined in the silence, formed under the conditions of the interior season, before it could be expressed in the exterior with the weight the assignment requires. Consider the way I work in the natural world, which always reflects the pattern of how I work in the human soul. The seed is covered before anything above the ground is visible. The covering is not concealment for its own sake. It is protection for the forming. The thing growing in the covered place is not less real because it cannot yet be seen. It is more protected precisely because the covering is keeping what is forming from being exposed to conditions that would disrupt its development before it is complete. My child, what I covered in you during the formation season was never less real because it was covered. It was being held in exactly the conditions required to produce what the expression season needs. Isaiah 45:3 says it this way: I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name. The hidden treasures are not hidden because they are lesser things. They are hidden because they are being held for the specific person who was summoned by name to receive them. The hiddenness is part of how I hold what is precious in reserve for the one I have specifically called. You were not overlooked during the formation season, my beloved. You were being held for the arrival season, and the arrival season is now. Stay with me for just a moment longer here. Do not move past this quickly. What I am about to name about what the formation built in you is one of the most important things I want to speak in this message, and it requires your full attention to receive correctly. Type God was there in the comments. In every hidden day, in every season where the formation was invisible from the outside and completely active on the inside. In every morning where the weight was heaviest, and every evening where faith ran thin, he was there. He saw every moment of it, and what he saw confirmed what he declared over you before the world began. My child, what did the formation season build in you specifically? I want to name this with precision rather than generality, because the formation is not a generic process that produces generic results in a generic person. It is a specific construction that builds specific qualities in a specific person for a specific assignment. And what it built in you is not interchangeable with what it built in anyone else. It is particular, it is yours, and it is exactly what the assignment that is opening for you requires. The first thing the formation built is a quality of settled, knowing that cannot be manufactured by a shorter or easier experience. My beloved, the person who carried something invisible for an extended period of time against the sustained pressure of a world that offered no confirmation of what they were holding, has a quality of interior knowing that is different in kind from what can be developed through a faster or more visible path. You know what you know without requiring external confirmation to maintain the knowing. That settled, unshakable interior knowledge, the kind that does not need an audience or visible evidence to remain intact, is one of the most essential capacities the assignment I am opening for you requires. Because the assignment will not always arrive with immediate confirmation, the person who walks into it needs to carry a knowing that can sustain through the seasons where the confirmation has not yet appeared. You have been built for exactly that. The formation was the furnace where that knowing was tested and refined until it became unshakable. The second thing the formation built is a resilience that is not performance. The resilience I am naming here is not the willingness to appear strong in difficult circumstances, which is a form of pride. The formation season is specifically designed to burn away. The resilience I am naming is the trained and proven capacity to continue carrying what I placed in you when the carrying is hard, when the external circumstances offer no encouragement, when the timeline has extended beyond what you prepared for, when the people around you cannot fully see or understand what you are doing. You have that capacity, my child, not as potential, not as something that might develop under favorable conditions. You have it already, built into you by every single day of the formation season. Every day you chose to continue was a day that trained this resilience deeper. And the assignment opening for you will draw on this in ways that require it to be real rather than performed. The third thing the formation built is a compassion forged in the specific experience of invisible carrying. The person who has carried something that no one else could fully see, who knows the specific weight of that invisibility, who has endured the loneliness of sitting across from someone they love and being unable to fully communicate the shape and nature of what they hold, not because they lacked words, but because the thing itself was not yet visible enough to give words to. That person has access to a quality of compassion for others carrying invisible things that cannot be acquired without having carried one. The assignment opening for you will bring you into proximity with people holding exactly what you have held. And what those people need from you is the specific compassion that comes from shared interior experience. The formation built it in you by taking you through exactly the experience that produces it. The fourth thing, my beloved, and this is the one I most want you to receive, is a wisdom that is experiential rather than theoretical. You did not only endure the formation season, you learned in it. You developed a quality of wisdom about the way I work in hiddenness and silence, and extended waiting, about what faith looks like in the private moments where there is no audience and no reward and no confirmation, except the interior knowing that what I placed in you is real. That wisdom was not studied into being, it was earned in the living of it. Consider Joseph, who carried the dream I gave him through years of invisibility, through the pit and the prison, through the seasons that made no visible sense from the outside. The wisdom Joseph carried into the moment of expression was not wisdom he acquired from study. It was wisdom built in him through every day of the hidden season. My child, the same is true for you. What the formation built in you is the specific equipping the specific assignment requires. Not almost exactly. Before I continue, my beloved, I want to ask you to do something right now. There is someone in your life who is in the middle of their own formation season. Someone carrying something invisible. Someone who has not yet heard that I see what they are holding, and that the hiddenness is by design, not by default. The name of that person came to you while you were hearing this, or it is coming to you now. I want you to share this message with them before this is over. Not because it will make you look good, because what I am doing in you, I am also doing in them, and the word that is strengthening you will strengthen them. Send this to that person. It will reach them at exactly the right moment, my child. I want to speak now to something I need you to receive about your ordinary faithfulness during the formation season. Not the faithfulness of dramatic moments, not the faithfulness that had an audience. The quieter, harder, more interior faithfulness. The kind that happened in the private moments where you decided one more time, without drama and without reward, to keep carrying what I placed in you. My beloved, the person who has exercised this kind of faithfulness across an extended formation season sometimes struggles to receive the idea that the ordinary faithfulness, the daily yes to the interior call, is something I genuinely treasure. It can begin to feel like ordinary faithfulness is just what you are supposed to do. The minimum required output of a person who claims to believe. I want to correct that directly. What you offered me in the ordinary days of the formation season, in the days where there was no dramatic evidence, and no visible confirmation, and no external reward for continuing, is among the most precious things in the sacred record of your life. Psalm 139 says it this way: You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. There is no private moment in your formation season that I did not perceive. My child, no quiet interior decision of faithfulness that I did not witness, and I did not take those moments for granted. I did not receive them as obligatory. I received every single act of ordinary faithfulness as the offering it was, freely given in a season where the giving had no visible return, and I honored the person who gave it with my full and specific attention. Every unseen day is in the record. Every interior decision is honored. Every private moment of faithfulness is part of what I am now bringing forward into the arrival season that is opening. The faithfulness of the formation season has a specific weight in the sacred record precisely because no one else saw it. The offering that requires no audience and produces no immediate reward is the offering most purely given from the interior of the one who gives it. That is what you gave me, and I want you to hear this from me directly. I value it specifically, not generally. The specific quality of faithfulness you exercised in the specific moments of your specific formation season is something I received with full attention and complete honoring. Type, I did not give up in the comments, because you did not. And that choice, made daily across the full length of the formation season, is part of what I am vindicating now. Now, my beloved, I want to name something I have watched during your formation season that I have not yet addressed directly, because part of what I see when I see you and what you carry is also what happened in the relationship between your formation and the people who encountered it. There were people who leaned in during your formation season, people who asked the right questions and listened carefully and tried to understand what you were carrying. Most of them received a partial version of what you hold, not because you withheld it deliberately, not because you failed to communicate, but because what you carry is not fully articulable in the interior season. The fullest expression of what you hold requires the exterior expression that the arrival season opens. The people who leaned in and honored what they could perceive were honoring something real. They were positioned in your life by me for the season you were in, and in the arrival season those same people will see more clearly. The partial thing they honored in the hiddenness will have a more visible form when the covering lifts, and the honor they gave to the invisible version will be confirmed by the visible version that the arrival season makes possible. But there were also people, my child, who did not lean in, who saw the hiddenness of your formation season and used it against you. I want to speak to this directly because it is part of what the arrival season is now addressing. There were people who looked at the length of your formation and called it delay, who measured the extended timeline of the hidden carrying against a standard they invented and spoke words over it that were not from me, words that questioned whether what you carry is real, words that suggested the length of the season was evidence of something lacking in you, some missing quality, some unaddressed obstacle, some failure of faith or readiness that was keeping you from where you were supposed to be. They spoke those words with confidence, my beloved, with the certainty of people who believed they were accurately assessing the situation. They were not. They were looking at the exterior of a season whose entire meaning was in the interior, and making declarations from the exterior layer without any access to what I was doing inside. While they were speaking doubt over the length of your formation, I was using the length to complete what could not be completed in a shorter season. While they were pointing to the absence of visible fruit as evidence of failure, I was building root systems in you that the visible fruit, when it arrives, will require in order to sustain the weight of the assignment. Fruit that grows from shallow roots falls quickly. The fruit that the assignment opening for you requires deep roots, the specific kind that only form through an extended formation where the hidden carrying produces the depth of settled knowing and earned wisdom and forged resilience that a shorter formation cannot produce. They evaluated the fruit. I was building the root. They had no access to what they were measuring. What those people declared had no authority over what I declared over you before the foundation of the world, my child. Their words did not alter the trajectory of what I was doing in you by a single day. They did not add one moment to the formation season that I did not intend. They did not reduce by one measure the quality of what I was building. The declaration I made over you preceded their doubt. It preceded the formation season, preceded the extended timeline, preceded every question and dismissal. And it stands now exactly as it stood when I made it. There were also people who received from you during the years of the hidden carrying in ways that did not correspond to what they received, who were positioned in your life during the formation season in ways that drew from what you carried without contributing to what was being built. I watched every transaction of the formation season, my beloved. I know what was given and what was received. And the arrival season is not only the season of what opens for you, it is the season of accounting for the relationships of the formation. Those who invested in you during the hidden season, even imperfectly, even partially, will share in the fullness of what is opening. And those who spoke doubt over the formation, who used the hiddenness against you, will see the arrival season open for you and recognize in that moment what they missed. They will not need to be told. The visible expression of what the formation produced will speak to them with more clarity than any words could. And you will not need to defend a single day of the season they questioned. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." I knew those plans before the doubters formed their words, my child. The plans have not changed, and the plans are what is now unfolding. Type, "I trust what God is doing" in the comments. Not because the full evidence has arrived, because the one who declared the plans is the one you trust, and that one has never been wrong about you, my beloved. I want to speak now in release, because this message is not only a word about what the formation season contained and what it cost. It is a word about what is now, and part of what is now is the releasing of specific things that the formation season deposited in you that were for the formation, and are not meant to be carried into the arrival. I release you from the weight of the invisibility, from the specific interior toll of having carried something real and significant in a season where the people around you could not fully see it. The invisibility was not a sign that what you carry is not real. It was a design feature of the season. The most significant things are always held in the interior before they are expressed in the exterior. And I release you now from the interior compression, the sustained invisibility produced. The compression is not a permanent characteristic, it is a seasonal condition, and the season is changing. What was held in the interior is coming into the exterior. What was covered is being uncovered. I release you from carrying the invisibility as weight into what is next. I release you from the loneliness of the invisible carrying. My child, the specific loneliness of being the only person in the room who knows what you carry. The loneliness of sitting across from someone you love and being unable to communicate the shape and weight of what you are holding, not because you lacked words, but because the thing itself was not yet expressible. You are fully known by me completely, without qualification, without a single hidden corner. And that knowing is sufficient ground for the arrival season. You did not carry the invisible thing alone. You have never carried it alone. I was there in every single day of the carrying, and in the arrival season the fullness of what you carry will have a language that reaches the people around you. Type "I release it now" in the comments. The weight of the invisible season, the private grief of the hiddenness, the loneliness of being the only one who knew. Release it. The carrying season is complete. The expression season is beginning. I release you from every incomplete explanation you gave during the formation to someone who asked about what you carry. My beloved, the moments where you tried to put into words something that was not yet ready for words, and the words came out smaller than the thing itself. Those moments were not failures. They were evidence that what you carry was being held in the interior for exactly the right reason, being shaped in the hiddenness for its fullest expression. The expression coming in the arrival season will not be incomplete. It will be the fully formed version of what could only be partially communicated in the formation. And the people who receive the partial version will recognize in the full expression the seed of what they were trying to see in you. I release you from the need to justify the length of the formation season to anyone, to explain why it took as long as it did, to defend the timeline against the questions of people who measured it against a standard they invented. The timeline of the formation season is not owed an explanation to any person, my child. It was the specific length it needed to be, for specific reasons that I oversaw with full attention and complete intention. 1 Samuel 16:7 says, "Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Those who questioned the timeline looked at the outward appearance of the season and made judgments from what they could observe. I was looking at the interior, at what the season was producing in the hidden place, and I knew exactly when it would be complete. The timeline was mine to determine, and it was determined precisely. If something in your chest loosened reading those words, a release of something that has been held tight across the length of the season, type "I receive this" in the comments. Let those 3 words be your declaration that what I am speaking is landing in the place it was designed to reach. I release you from carrying the weight of what most people will never know as a private grief. There has been a form of quiet grief in the invisibility of the formation season, in the reality that the most significant thing happening in your interior life was also the thing least visible to the people around you. That grief was real, my beloved. I honored it by seeing it in every day it was present, but I am releasing you from it now. The arrival season will make visible gradually and then unmistakably what the formation season held in the interior. The people who could not see it will see it. Not because they need to see it for the thing to be real, because the thing was always meant for expression. And the season of expression is here. Type "I am stepping into what is next" in the comments. Not as aspiration, as the present reality I am declaring over you in this moment. The season is turning. You are stepping into it, my child. I want to speak now to what it means to move from the formation into the arrival while being fully known by me. Because there is something about this specific transition that is different in kind from moving forward in any other context. The person who steps into what I have prepared, knowing that I know them completely, knowing that I was present in every hidden day and honored every invisible act of faithfulness, knowing that the formation was not delay but precise preparation for a precise assignment. That person does not step into the arrival season wondering if they are adequate. They step in knowing they are the one I prepared for exactly this. Not the one who might be, not the one who is promising but still needs to prove it. The one who is, right now, in this moment, having been called and formed and shaped and made ready through the full length of the formation season. Full stop. No qualification, no condition. No waiting for the external evidence to make the declaration real. Matthew 6:4 says, "Your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." The secret is the formation season. Every hidden day, every unseen decision, every private act of faithfulness. The seeing is what I have been doing across the full length of the formation, and the reward is what the arrival season opens, not as payment for suffering. As the natural and specific expression of what was planted, the harvest always corresponds to the planting, my beloved, and what was planted in you and through you during the formation season was specific, intentional, and designed for exactly the expression that is now beginning. You are stepping into a harvest that corresponds precisely to what was planted. The settled knowing built in the hiddenness will be the unshakable foundation of the expression. The resilience forged in the invisible carrying will sustain the assignment through its most demanding seasons. The compassion built by the experience of carrying something no one could see will be the specific quality the people who encounter you need most from you. The experiential wisdom that cannot be faked or studied into being will be the ground from which guidance flows. None of this is accidental. All of it was built by design, and the one who designed it is walking with you into the expression of it now. My child, I also want to speak to the person who has heard a declaration like this before and received it more easily in the excitement of a particular moment than in the ordinary days between moments. The person who felt the full weight of the declaration in a powerful encounter and then returned to the ordinary day and found it harder to hold. That experience is not weakness. It is the experience of a declaration that is asking to become foundational rather than momentary. The declaration I make over the ones I call is not designed to produce peaks of identity experience. It is designed to become the ground they stand on continuously across every kind of day, including the ordinary ones. And the formation season, in its ordinary days, is specifically the place where that foundational standing is built. Every day the declaration was held in the ordinary day without dramatic confirmation was a day it became more foundational. That is part of what the formation was building in you, my beloved. Not only the specific qualities for the assignment, the ability to stand on what I have declared continuously, regardless of what the exterior evidence offers. The person who stayed with this message to this point is exactly the person I was speaking this for. You stayed, and staying is not a small thing. The one who stays to receive the full word is the one who will receive its full weight. And its full weight is this: you are the one I prepared, my beloved, not the one who might be, not the one who is promising but still needs more time, the one who is, right now, in this moment, having carried the invisible thing through the full length of the formation season, and arrived at this moment ready for what is opening. The formation did not almost prepare you, it completed the preparation. And what you carry now, the original call plus the person the formation produced, is exactly what the assignment requires. Walk into it knowing that. Walk into it with the settled certainty of someone who has been seen completely and declared fully ready by the only one whose declaration governs the outcome. Type "I am the one God prepared" in the comments, not in pride, in alignment, in the simple reception of what has been declared over you from before the beginning of the formation season, confirmed through every hidden day of the carrying, and being fulfilled now in the arrival that is opening. Most people will never know what you carry, my child. But in the arrival season, as what you carry comes into expression, something will become visible that was invisible before. The specific depth of the settled knowing, the resilience that does not perform itself. The compassion forged in the invisible carrying, the wisdom earned through the interior of the experience. These things will be present in the expression of the assignment, and the people who encounter them will encounter something with a quality and a depth and a groundedness they cannot fully account for from what they can see. What they cannot account for is the formation season, the hidden years, the invisible faithfulness, the specific thing I was building in you through the whole length of the carrying. They will see the expression without knowing the root. But you will know the root, and I know the root. And that knowing shared between you and the one who was with you in every hidden day is the ground you stand on as you walk into everything the formation prepared you for. You are ready. The formation completed what it was meant to complete. Walk into what is next. It is prepared for you and you are prepared for it, and the God who has known you in every hidden moment of the forming is the same God who is walking with you now into the fullness of the expression. To everyone who found this message today, if what you heard reached something real in you, I want to ask two things before you leave. First, there is a person whose name came to you during this message. Someone in their own formation season right now, carrying something invisible, who needs to hear that God sees what they carry, and that the hiddenness is by design, not by accident. Send this to that person. It will reach them at exactly the right moment. And second, if this ministry has spoken to you today, if what was released in this message is something you want to honor with more than a watch, I want to invite you to sow a seed into what God is doing here, not as a transaction, not as a formula for blessing, as a simple act of faith in what God is building through this channel and through the people who find these messages at exactly the moment they need them. Every seed sown in faith is received by the Father, who sees what is given in the hidden place. You can visit the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen. Give from whatever you have, and let the God who knows what you carry, who has been with you in every hidden day of the formation season, receive it as the act of faith it is. God bless you, my child. Walk into what is next. You are ready.